name given by the acronym in English T-cell modulator. TSM is a proprietary formula exclusive to the functional oncology. Its main work relies on adjuvant and stimulant in the immune response of cancer patients. Although its name is specific for a single cell type, the T cells, their function is broad and impacts on the multiple activities of these cells. To better understand this, we must first explain the basic structure of the cells we are going to stimulate, also known as white blood cells or leukocytes. Within this we have lymphocytes and myelocytes, all of them large families of cell groups, which share similar characteristics but each have their own functions within the organism. We will focus in this lecture on the cells in charge of battling cancer, setting aside their origin and family to focus only on their biggest asset, its function. The cells of the immune system in charge of mounting the immune response against malignant cells are cytotoxic and collaborator T lymphocytes, dendritic cells, NK cells, and LAC cells. As we mentioned in our cellular therapy lecture, our method allows to work with all these special cellular line as needed. Each of these cells has a special function within the battle against malignant cells. The first step consists on recognizing the dysfunctional cell, presenting this malignant cell to other immune cells and then attacking and destroying. These cells use a communication system between them that allows all these functions. This is where cancer produces its effect to achieve its development and tumor formation. Where malignant cells evade, recognition thus blocks the response against them, preventing the necessary message from being transmitted between our immune cells and activating the sequence of events required for the destruction of these cells. We have two types, one called cooperative T cells, capable of sending message to attack cells, where we can say that its function is to initiate the cascade of coordinated immune responses through these specific messages. And we have cytotoxic T cells. This is an attack cell responsible for eliminating malignant cells through different chemical agents that are produced and released against these defective cells. These cells have two main functions. They help in the presentation of the enemy. This is, they help to identify the malignant cells so the rest of the cells, such as the cytotoxic T cells, can attach it. And the dendritic cell has a defense system known as phagocytosis, where the dendritic cell eats or inserts the malignant cell inside itself to later destroy it. These cells are of paramount importance in the immune response against cancer. Since its only function, as its name indicates, is to kill, they are the first response to treat and specialize in attack malignant cells. This is achieved by attacking the wall of the malignant cell, destroying it to be able to enter and continue the destructive process. These natural killer cells must first activate through these messages that are coordinated between the cells involved in the immune response. Just as the cells before, their name can tell us a lot about their mechanism of action, lymphocytic activated killers. These cells are natural killer cells that are created in the immunology lab. That is, once the natural killer cells are extracted and isolated, they are stimulated with chemical agents so that they become LAC cells. Physically, they're similar to the natural killer, however, the destructive potential is greater, making them a killer with greater capacity of damage and effectiveness. Now that we have spoken about and distinguished the immune cells responsible for the anti-tumor response, we can explain with more ease how the TCM works. We mentioned at the beginning that, despite the name, T-cell modulators, its function is not limited exclusively to this type of cells, but to the whole range of cells described before. In summary, with the TCM, we're making sure that the immune response is carried out. That is, the activation of the attack cells through the messages required for them to be present. The TCM is in synthesis a specific encoded message that will trigger the chain of reactions in charge of activating the attack cells. Let's talk about the composition of the TCM. These are coded messages in the form of an elaborated series of polypeptides. These polypeptides are the smallest part of an amino acid. An amino acid is the smallest part of a protein. So we can say that the TCM are messenger proteins. The type of immune response that we have describing is not exclusive to humans. We share this type of immunity with many living beings on this planet. Thanks to the science and technology, today we understand the huge relationship that exists between all forms of life as well as the different forms of life that have a close relationship with a human being, possibly as part of its evolutionary process. We get these proteins from two main sources of shark and crocodile spleen. The spleen is an organ. It is a part of the immune system and in charge of producing these messages of proteins. It is of great importance to understand that, although we are talking about non-human species, the level at which we are working is merely cellular, making these differences between species particularly known. Hence the ability to use them in humans in a safe form, thus achieving the required response. Once the proteins are extracted from these two species, we proceed to separate the amino acids and finally the polypeptides that will be in charge of the different activities in this immune response. Its greater benefit we see is with dendritic cells, where it will help to obtain its maturation so that it does its function of presentation and in turn attack. By achieving this stimulation of the dendritic cell, we generate the activation of the T cell to start a destructive response. On the other hand, it will also directly stimulate the natural killer cell population by activating them against the malignant cell. Other functions are preventing the implantation of proteins produced by malignant cells in order to generate activity at a distance. It also combats the mutation of malignant cells, maintaining a constant immune response. The TCM can perform these functions even without the presence or without the combination of the cellular therapy. That is, the TCM are able to activate the immune system by itself. However, we must remember two important aspects. One, by definition, cancer patients are in a state of immune compromise, and the proof of this is the presence of the disease. And two, on patients who have been previously treated with chemotherapy, which generates multiple side effects, it is likely that there is damage to the white blood cells, thus generating a considerable decrease in the number and availability of these attack and defense cells. By having a low number of soldiers, the immune response may be present, but insufficient to cope with the disease. Despite this, an immune system with low numbers is able to generate an efficient and effective response. But as we mentioned in several of our videos, we cannot generalize since one of the main characteristics of the disease is individuality. The TCM, in combination with the cellular therapy, is a very effective therapeutic tool, because with it, we're able to present an adequate amount of previously programmed soldiers, and two, we have the message that will lead to the activation of immune response. The TCM is a proprietary product of the comprehensive program of this hospital, and it is positioned as an essential tool in the management of cancer. Its side effects are known. This gives us an enormous advantage in not having to watch over the toxic impact as in the case of chemotherapy, a treatment that most probably requires some type of management or support in order to avoid complications and maintain the quality of life. Once again, TSM does not attack the quality of life, allowing us, doctors, the power to stabilize those patients who are in complex disease.